Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Cooking for the Family. I'm Dyvonne, and today I'm going to share with you how I make my pineapple upside down cake. These are the ingredients that we're going to be using. I'm going to share with you all of the ins and outs, things that I have learned over the years, how to make the very best pineapple upside down cake. I make it for Thanksgiving and the family really enjoys it. This is actually a cake I made about 15, 16 years ago. This is a cake I just recently made for family and friends. So let's get started. I have a 13 by 9 casserole dish and I put my 1 stick of butter and I'm going to melt it in my oven on 325. This is a 15.25 ounce box of Pineapple Supreme cake mix, and again you want to use the 15.25 ounce box of cake mix. I'm using the juice that comes out of my can of pineapples, 20 ounce can of pineapples, and the juice, you're going to end up with 1 cup of juice. This is in their natural juice. Now in the description box below I will have a list of all the ingredients you need to make the pineapple upside down cake, but I'm going to share with you and show you how to take those ingredients and put them all together. So I add that, and I also put in a half a cup of vegetable oil. Now I'm going to be using 4 large eggs, and my eggs are at room temperature. Room temperature eggs are going to blend so much better into your cake. And the butter that I'm melting in the oven at the 325 degrees is salted butter. You want to use salted butter, and I'll explain more to you as to why. Next I have a 3.4 ounce box of vanilla pudding, and this is instant vanilla pudding. So I also added that to my mixing bowl. I'm going to go ahead and put my eggs in. I like my eggs to drop in to my batter one at a time, just like that. So far in my bowl we have our cake mix, we have our instant vanilla pudding, we have our 1 cup of pineapple juice that came off of our pineapples. We also have the half a cup of vegetable oil, and I just put in the 4 eggs. Now if you can't find the Pineapple Supreme cake mix, you can substitute a box of yellow cake mix, and again it's going to be the 15.25 ounce of the yellow cake mix. The reason being is the 13.25 ounce box of cake mix is just not enough mix in order to make your cake properly. Now the one I made that I was sharing with you, that I showed you at the beginning, that I made about 16 years ago, that was from the 18.25 ounce box of cake mix that they used to have. And so the box of cake mix has reduced, but the 15.25 ounce box of cake mix will still work for this recipe. This is how you want your cake mix to look. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab our butter that's been melting in our oven. So to the top of my butter, I'm going to put, and this is, our butter is nice and hot right out of the oven, we're going to put 1 cup of packed light brown sugar. And the reason why I use that salted butter, because the salted butter is going to balance out and it's going to mix and go very well with that light brown sugar. So I found over the years salted butter works better than the unsalted butter when it comes to this recipe. So once I've just distributed the light brown sugar, make sure that's packed light brown sugar, I take my fork and I even everything out. This is so that way we don't have like one area that's going to have a lot of our light brown sugar and maybe one area that just has a little bit. So this gives me a chance to just kind of even it out and make sure the bottom of my dish is totally covered. Now we're going to put down our pineapple rings, and you want to make sure that you put your pineapple rings, you're going to have enough that's going to go down the side as well in the middle. You can make a design, you can cut them if you prefer to cut them and do a different kind of design. That's kind of up to you, so I'll leave that up to you, but I'll share with you how I usually do mine. And I just put them down, and they can just be touching, really good, kind of snug, just like that, down the sides. And then we're also going to have a couple more rings that we're going to put, and you want to use all of the pineapple rings that come inside your dish. Well, you don't have to use all of them that come inside the can, but I usually always use all of them that come in the can. Now, I recently started to add some pecans. That's kind of going back to the original pineapple upside down cake that call for pecans or either walnuts, and so that's personal preference. So you can add them or leave them out, and I just put them within the spaces that there are no pineapples, and so I just kind of do it like that just to add another dimension to my cake. Now I'm going to use some maraschino cherries, and go ahead and you want to put all in the center or either around your design. You want to put your maraschino cherries just like that. Now my oven is still on. My oven's on 325, and these are the maraschino cherries I like to use. I like to use the darker ones. They just come out to me a little bit better looking on the cake. I pour my batter in my pan, being mindful not to disturb the cherries or the pineapples at all, and try to distribute the cake as evenly as possible. We're going to go back and even things out so that way our cake bakes up nice and even. And what you may notice is around the sides of your pan, you'll have that butter that starts to rise, that melted butter, and that's okay. That's going to happen. As our cake bakes, it will rise up above that. Also, something that's important is when your cake is going to bake at 325 for about 45 to 55 minutes. At around 25 minutes, 30 minutes, check your cake. If your cake is going to be a very rich golden brown. If your cake seems like it's browning a little too quickly, take a big sheet of foil, aluminum foil, and put it over on top of your cake. But do this at about 25-30 minutes once the top of your cake is set. So that way the aluminum foil does not disturb your cake at all, okay? And so this is our cake. My cake baked in the oven for 55 minutes. At about that 30 minutes is my cake was getting nice and brown. So what I did was I went on and put that big piece of foil to keep the cake from getting too brown. Now, when it comes to flipping your cake, you want to do it in one quick motion and with total confidence, and just flip it, because what will happen is, and even if it slides, mine sometimes slides just a little bit, hold on to it tight, flip it good. It's kind of like sticking the landing. You got to flip it really good. If you hesitate at all, what will happen is your cake will fall out of the casserole dish, and then you'll have cake on the counter and cake on the floor. And over 15 years of making this cake, let me tell you, that has happened to me. And so what I can pass on to you is that you want to do in one quick motion and flip your cake, and make sure you have a pan that's going to set very nicely on top of that casserole dish. When your cake is upside down, let it sit like that for about 3 to 5 minutes so all of the butter and the brown sugar that was in the bottom can go ahead and drop down on the sides and on top of the cake. So let your cake sit there with the casserole dish on top for about 3 to 5 minutes. Then after I took the casserole dish off, I let my cake cool for about 20 minutes, and now I'm going to go ahead and serve us up some. It is looking good. The smell of that pineapple and the brown sugar, and you see how our cake is looking. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait for y'all to give this recipe a try. This cake comes out so moist and so tender. This first bite's for you. Now I'm going to take my bite. Wow, y'all, this cake, it is so easy to make. I hope you give this recipe a try, whether you are making it for Thanksgiving, whether you are making it for a birthday, or just because. Remember those key tips I shared with you, and your cake is done when there's no jiggle in the middle, and when you put a tester in the center, it comes out clean. Well, that is it for me today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, show this video some love, and give it a thumbs up. Click share this video with a friend or family, and it's always good when Dyvonne is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.